jingle said, with the wonderful lyrics written by Violet, with the use of AI to put that musical piece together, was quite entertaining. It is. We run this room. Steve runs this room / show. Very organized. Everybody gets a fresh five. Everybody gets a chance to speak. But we do it in order. We don't want interruptions. We do encourage, conversations that are productive and meaningful and not suck. Like, don't throw personal attacks and don't say silly stuff, because when that silly stuff gets said, we're going to challenge that silly stuff. So we do have Nesset next for his fresh five, or her fresh five, however they may be. And then we will go around back in order. I know Elliot didn't get his fresh five earlier, but we're going to give Nesset his mic time. Nesset, you got your fresh five. Care to say?
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nesset. Very well. So real quick, I just like to say that I'm Black, from Africa, etc. Right, and I just want to say that atheism is not an African original concept. It was never a part of traditional African culture. All of our African ancestors believed in some type of higher being, some type of supreme being, right? And that being said, I'll also like to say that Islam, Christianity, and Judaism is not the Black man's religion. We were made slaves under Allah and Jesus Christ, right? Jesus did not free us. Allah did not free us. So any Black person that is, a Muslim or a Christian, you are lost. Brother or sister, you are extremely lost. And the world is fucked up today because people keep trying to force their religions upon other people, right? As Black people, we were by ourselves. All you other races, you guys came to us in the beginning. You guys came and fucked with us, right? You wanted to deal with us. You wanted to take what we had, right? And then now you're complaining that your societies are being fucked up because we're a part of it. But in the beginning, you guys came to us. We didn't ask for none of this shit. Y'all could have just left us alone, right? But it already happened, right? I'm a practitioner of African spirituality, right? In Africa, we have many African spiritual systems, right? And you will find your truth within these spiritual systems. You will not find your truth within the religion of the white man, or the religion of the Arab man, or the religion of the Chinese or Asian, or whatever type of other race, right? And religion is a cultural concept which is specific to each race of people on this planet Earth. That means that everybody on this earth, they have their own concept of what God is, right? And it's connected to them. So if you're a Black person worshiping Allah or Jesus Christ or Buddha, Muhammad, right, or any of the Hindu deities, right, you are lost. You are extremely lost. And I will land on that. I also have a response.
Okay, thank you very much, Nesset, and thank you everybody for joining us here on Ask the Atheist with
I'm not racist. Everybody left for the Black man.
We're gonna go around again. JCC, I'll let you call out the order.
Hang on a minute. So
Very well said.
Madam, if you interrupt again, you will be put down in the audience. So please. Alfonso has something to say. Alfonso, you can add on to what you were saying before and respond to what Nesset said as well. Great, Alfonso. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, to finish my previous interaction, I was trying to steel man what creationism might mean in different traditions. A very common one in different traditions is that there was some entity, superior, creator, maybe roamed the earth or was independent of the earth, came up and created plants as they exist, and humans and animals as they exist, and they never evolved. For others who are a little bit more in depth, they would say that God, like John Mallinckrodt says, he gave the spark and then didn't really do much. So he started the whole process of evolution and humans and all that. But as objective observers, we don't see that. there was an agent creating all this. So even though we see cars and watches, and we infer that the human created them, we cannot infer that the earth, the volcanoes, the sea, and other life forms emerged. We have no way of seeing that. It's a first scripture tradition. So I think we're at a loss if we believe that there was an agent. And so to the traditions of Africa, again, if you start with animism, basically seeing agents in nature, and we started to believe that there were spirits acting, behind the scenes, and I think it's very poetic. It's beautiful in the human experience. But there's something that really worries and concerns me, right? There's thousands of Christians that are being murdered for being Christian. I'm an atheist, but I don't condone the murder of theists either, right? And so Africans, Muslims are murdering, killing Christians, non-Christians, just because they have different belief systems. And so that is concerning when you come up with the supremacy of one belief system. That's very problematic.
Thank you, Alfonso. Well said.
Can I respond to that?
60 seconds. Go ahead, Nessa. What's your response? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the whole ordeal of Africans killing each other on the continent because of these religions, you understand that as Black people, as Africans, we are under a spell. Like, for example, I'm here as a Black man, an African, speaking English to you all. English is not my indigenous language to my ancestors. It's not the language that we spoke. So, like, our subconscious mind and the way we see the world, it's so fucked up that when we see each other through the lenses of white people. Like, we're that fucked up that we see each other through white people's lenses. So when we're over here killing each other in the name of these religions, you gotta understand that, like, it's so hard to, like, explain. It's just that we're just under a spell. We're not operating through our natural self at all. From the way we see each other, from the way we see God, we're not operating as our true self. And white people, like, bro, why the fuck won't y'all just leave us the fuck alone? Just leave us the fuck alone. Stop coming to Africa, right? Stop implementing whatever the fuck y'all got going on. Just leave us alone. From the beginning, you guys came over and wanted to do whatever the fuck. We were perfectly fine. We were perfectly fine.
And I just want to contribute very quickly. Nesset, although I'm an atheist, although I'm a Jew, I consider myself a white person. And you have my personal guarantee. I have no intention of going to Africa. And I absolutely, without question, will leave you alone. That being said, JCC, may I make a recommendation?
Yeah, go ahead.
I recommend that we go to Madam now, because I believe she's on her knees giving us a blazing chopping at the bit. But that's up to you. That's up to you.
Sir. I think, Madam, you got like 2 minutes to respond to something and add something on topic or something different. Madam, are you there? All right, Madam. I am God.
I'm here.
Okay.
It's a lot going on. My very close friend has something to say. She's been listening. She has something to say.
Is it in reference to what we just currently discussed about?
Let me tell you a little bit about history right now. You know, Black people soldiers, we can't be blaming white people for every problem on this fucking earth. Let me tell you something right now. Nobody is a problem. We're all human. And the race is human race. There is no fucking race that's to divide you and to conquer. Stop playing into the bullshit and come together and fight who's really ruling the world, which is 13 royal families ruling this motherfucking world. We should be literally taking back our country, taking back our earth, and telling these people not to rule us anymore. I'm telling you right now.
Can I respond to that?
No, you cannot. not. I'm going to respond to that and turn it back to JCC. No, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I was going to say something very stupid. I'm biting my tongue. JCC back.
Good job, Steve. Good job. So, thank you, Madam's friend, for sharing that tidbit of information. Yes, Nesset, since you brought this up, I'll give you 30 seconds to respond because I want to pass the mic to I Am God. He's been wanting to chime in on the topic. So, what's your response, Nesset?
Yeah, so with the whole, it's crazy that, Madam's friend brought this up because I was just speaking to my white colleague about this not too long ago, right? The whole ordeal with Africans selling other Africans, you understand that, yes, we're all humans, right? And even I would argue that we're not all human beings, but that's a different conversation. But you understand that, like, when white people encountered Africans during that time, we had a different mindset, right? There's a book, it's called the Iceman Inheritance, right? And it talks about how the upbringings of white people and Africans, it created a psychology where white people were able to take advantage of our psychology. For example, right, in Africa, we live in a tropical climate, right, where we don't really have to worry about food, right, because the sun will bring the food back, right? The food grows out of the earth. It comes from the trees, right? There's plentiful of animals. There's land, plentiful everywhere, right? Right? Minimal clothing, right? Whereas white people, they grew up in an environment where it was cold, harsh, right? Nothing survived, nothing grew, right? So they had to think of ways to survive. They had to think in the future, right? To survive the winter. So when they came across Africans who were living in this land of abundance, right, they were able to take advantage of this type of environment, this type of people, because of how they were living, right? So Africans, we have, until this day, we have a very, how can I say, it's very innocent. Africans are very peaceful people. I will say, we are very peaceful people. I know wrap it up. Yeah, I know it may not seem like it, but we are very peaceful, innate people in our hearts. We're just peaceful people. We Europeans are not peaceful people. They are a very warlike type of people, savage people.
Thank you, Nessa. Thank you. So, I Am God. What is it you care to add?
Oh, man. I have so much to say, but we're going to sum it up. Yes. Brother Daniel.
We'll give you a fresh 5. You got 5 minutes to say what's on your mind.
Thank you. Les, I think that's the name. You talking about things take shape, things that man does that. Steve has said a lot of it that was correct as well. We are the creators, we're the destroyers. We give life, we take life, we move mountains. We feed the animals. We look out there. There's evil on this earth, yes. We look out after each other. He's made these clothes, the hat, that thing, that knife, and that thing. You see, factories, and we ship these things to you, and you accept it. You don't ever push it back and go, I don't want that because that's man-made. I wait for God to send me out his own image. You see, when you're on that table, that doctor, make sure that your heart is beating, that you pull through that surgery. You see? So I'm going to leave that one alone. And that's it. Brother, oh my God. There's a saying where you should just keep quiet and let people think you smart instead of opening your mouth and moving all reasonable doubt. The people in this room, I'm sure, we're older than you. We're older than you that you have to give us no history. A woman matter, dropped it down on you real quick. That long, that drawn out, nice and simple. And you just sat there and said how Europeans are evil, how they're nasty. But what you didn't understand, how you just came in this room with white people and just said about the things you said in the tone of your voice. So you pretty much want to represent the Africans. You see? So I would say to you, don't go in a space that makes you uncomfortable. Hear me when I say that. Let this be scripture. Go where you are happy. Because evidently your soul isn't good. It's not nice. Just like the last man who kept saying, oh, y'all racist, y'all racist. Why would you put yourself in that area, in that room, around those people? You see, it doesn't do good for the soul. It really doesn't. It makes you respond and talk like you're talking now because you No, we wasn't blind. No, we're not looking at the world or America because I'm wise enough now. Got my third eye open. Don't blame no white man. Don't blame the black man. I will blame myself because of the situation that I put myself in. And you should be grown enough to know now. Ain't nobody got to put you on a pot to piss no more. You should know. Don't look at that way. Because evidently it makes you angry. I'm just like Steve up there when he said, I don't care your race. I don't care your color. You're an asshole because you're an asshole. Now, am I prejudiced? Yes, because there's some things I don't like. And there's some people that I don't like. But you're too old, brother, to be coming here, probably come to America that you probably dislike, you don't like, but you come here. You're taking our resources. You see? Then you probably go back to Africa. I don't know. But the way
I'm not in America. I'm not in America.
Okay, okay. I said I don't know. But I said you may come to America. You may have been to America. I say you are American. But why go to a place that you don't like? That's my point. I land.
Thank you very much for that, God. We'll come around. First, I'd just like to say, if
very well.
anybody would like to come on up.
Hang on,
guys.
Hang on, listen.
If anyone else would like to come on up and add to the conversation or, talk about whatever's on your mind, you can come on up and get your fresh five too. I am now going to turn it back over to JCC to decide which direction we're going to take next.
Excellent. Thank you, Violet. This is fun. I really enjoy this conversation. I want to, Elliot, we were chiming in asking you to speak in hour number 2. It's now hour number 3. Elliot, you got a moment to talk. You can get your fresh five while we still got time for fresh fives, bro. What's on your mind? Elliot, are you there?
I'm just listening. I don't know. The conversation about the race is always cringe, but thanks for that.
But of course, Elliot, you're so welcome. So Les, you want to respond? I'll give you a minute or so to respond. What was on your mind?
Yeah, thank you. Everyone who spoke and addressed what I said and say anything that I feel was substantial. Like your guy Steve up there, I spoke about order, and then he's talking about cancer. What does cancer happen? Do you have sand and rocks getting cancer? Isn't cancer in cells? That's order. Cancer don't just go ahead and grab on the metal and.
Okay, so let's dialogue back and forth. So actually, cancer is disorder, right? He was using that as an example in antithesis to the order that you're claiming, right? And I also gave you. Please do not interrupt. I also gave you a response to rebut your intelligent design argument. I don't know if that's what you knew you were doing. You're making a claim. Look at things. There's nothing to conclude from that because we can see things that are ordered by intelligent beings like us, and then we can compare and contrast things that do not need a quote-unquote a designer. And that's why Steve brought up volcanoes, hurricanes, tornadoes. Those are the opposite of order. And if you're claiming all things are from an intelligent designer, it doesn't follow because they're disorder in the same thing. So just because you see complexity does not mean it is intelligent design.
Pattern recognition seeker.
I was able to allow you to speak and you communicated clearly without interrupting you. Let me be able to speak. Okay? Order. Okay? It happened in a specific location. You don't expect planes to be flying underground. So your idea of disorder is happening within a specific vicinity that accommodates for that activity to happen in that location. So it's still ordered. So whatever you say about volcano, tornado, they're not happening in random places.
Beautiful. Do not interrupt. 10 seconds before you say, let's dialogue.
it's okay to dissent against your own country. Well, if that's okay, then why isn't it okay to disagree with?
He was also United Nations staff at the United Nations. Turin, Italy. He's part of the.
You're going to get a cheap fight experience. I don't think it really mattered.
I think that I was gonna say real quick. So, from my understanding, and I could be wrong, Spirit was intended to be like a.
Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawk's. By my head I I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. I'm the diamonds of radiance, white and gold. By their brightness I invoke thee. Triangle reverse the sign given on unsaving need of thee, O Lord. By the Lamb and I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of my soul, with gold the waxing of my head I wear. By my robe I invoke And is my sword
Mine is the head of the man, and my inside is keen as the ox. By my bed I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By their brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle, reverse the sign, given of none, save thee, of thee, O Lord. By the Lamed I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white, sewn with gold, the flashing of day that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of the prophets and Typhoon. By the sign I invoke Mine is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue figure of the intermediate. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers tremble on the beat of fire, so run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. Mine is a wand of double power in the world. By the word I invoke thee. Mine are the dark waves of music in the song that I made on shore to invoke thee. Strike the master chord, draw the flaming sword, shout and conquering Lord, Horus Avenger. My hand is thy sword of revenge, and its strike at thy cheek. By the sword I invoke thee. Voice of the fire, the voice of the sea. 11 are the voices. Abrahadabra. Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawks. By my head I invoke thee. I am that. Look, no cut, no photo. The diamonds are ready. More than that, Tacitus describes the physical characteristics of these mighty Germans. He wrote about how they had fierce blue eyes, blonde hair, and huge frames. For the Nazis, the Germania was proof that the German people were descended from a mighty race superior to all others. And the words of Tacitus would resonate with one German in particular. To give up the Aeneas Codex. But the Count Aurelio Baldesti Baliani was not used to being bossed around.
Mussolini wanted to give it to Hitler as a present, but my father actually didn't like fascism. He didn't like Mussolini.
The Count thought Mussolini was ridiculous, and he had no time for the pompous upstart's demands. So he refused to hand over the book.
He didn't want to make Mussolini too happy. He didn't want to make Hitler happy. I mean, he didn't want to give it away.
I was always proud of my father for everything. Just to say no and just to be very nonchalant. I think that demonstrates courage and intelligence.
Another of his properties, his palazzo in the town of Jesi, only a few miles away. The Count's treasures had been smuggled out in agricultural carts, hidden from the Germans beneath piles of farm produce.
There were many cars that were going at the time in the center of the town of Jesi, so lots of things were hidden under the wheat and under the grapes.
Could it be that the Aeneas Codex was among the valuables?
Mine is the head of the man, and mine
This was the first time humanity had ever seen what an alien looked like. Its body was covered in blood-red scales, and its face looked strangely similar to the demons of legend. But this alien freely handed humanity a huge amount of advanced technology. However, scientists Locke quickly sensed that something was off, because ever since this visitor from space arrived, humanity's technological progress had come to a complete standstill, and no one had come up with a single new invention. So Locke immediately worked for them. Humanity had no need to develop anything of its own hands. The officials casually told Locke that the alien had asked them to capture every private animal on Earth, but no one knew why they wanted that, so they had a formal battle. Locke openly confronted the alien in front of them, asking why they locked down technology and wanted to take away Earth's animals. But the alien did not dodge the question at all. Instead, he calmly said all of this was for humanity's own good. It sealed off technology because it feared humans would gain the power to destroy themselves. If one of the animals only put on an exhibition of its own kind, unexpectedly, those words left Locke with nothing to say. Right after that, the alien said it would help pregnant women optimize their baby's genes. To do that, it had one pregnant woman place her palm against a round disc. At first, the woman wanted to refuse, but under the alien's overwhelming presence, she obeyed. Instantly, Snow White, but Locke, standing in the crowd, caught something unusual, because inside the beam, a strange symbol could be seen. He immediately copied the symbol down and took it home to study. After beginning to prep, Locke broke out in a cold sweat. It turned out that the symbol every child born from the womb touched by that beam showed abnormal supernatural abilities. Some could move objects with their minds, and some could enter other people's dreams to send messages. Even stranger, those children would gather at fixed times, and all at once they would make bizarre hand gestures toward a specific point in the sky, as if they were carrying out some silent ritual. Locke had no idea what was really happening, but he was certain the alien was behind it all. So he made up his mind to sneak out to the alien's home and uncover the truth behind this conspiracy. To do that, Locke went to his girlfriend, who was in charge of transporting animals to the aliens, and begged her to find a way to smuggle them along. Seeing that his
song that I made a vow to invoke. Draw the flaming sword, crown child and conquering Lord, wars by the song I invoke. In my hand is thy sword of revenge. Let it strike at thy bidding. By the sword I invoke. Of the spirits, even all the voices ever and Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the ox. By my head I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. Sweet and pure, my brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the bread triangle, reverse the sign given of none. Save thee, O Lord. By the Lamed I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white, sewn with gold, the flashing of day that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of a prophet and Typhoon. By the sign I invoke Mine is the turban of white and gold, and mine the fear of the intermediate. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers tremble on the beat of earth, so run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. I bear the wand of double power in the voice of the Master. Abraham by the word I invoke thee. I know the dark waves of music in the song that I made of old to invoke Strike the master chord, draw the flaming sword, child and conquering Lord, Horus Avenger. My hand is thy sword of revenge, and strike thy teeth. By the sword I invoke thee. By the voice of the 611 are the voices. Abrahadabra. begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother told me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. Upon me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By the brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle reverse, the sign given of none. Save it be of thee, O Lord. By the Lamb and I invoke thee. Free mine is the garment of white, sewn with gold. The flashing of eye that I wear by my robe, I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of a prophet and typhon. By the sign I invoke thee. Mine is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue vigor of the intimate. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers travel on the beads of pearl, so run I after thee in thy car of blue. In the voice of the master, Abraham, by the word I invoke thee. My God, the dark blue waves of music in the song that I made about to invoke thee. Strike! Like a master core. Draw! Draw the flaming sword. Draw! Child of conquering love. Horror! Avenger! By the song I invoke thee. If my heart is like storm of revenge, let it strike and life begin. By the song I invoke thee. The voice of the fight, the voice of the safety, the voices, every heart of love. Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the heart. By my head I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and around me shine the diamonds of radiance. Mine is the red triangle reverse, the sign given of none. Save it be, oh free, oh Lord. By the Lamb and I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white sewn with gold, the flashing by the sign I invoke thee.
A contributor that, yes, their tickets were probably, maybe a little cheaper than other airlines, but Frontier has
Mod Squad, we wish you and your families a great remainder of your weekend. We will be back next Saturday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and next Sunday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care, everybody. Goodbye. Be careful on the clubhouse streets. And JCC, why don't you say the standard last words for the show?
Wish you all happy trails until we meet again. Thank you, folks. Bombadita, 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 happy trails to you. Bombadita, bombadita, bombadita. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny happy bombadita, 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 bombadita,
My grandma had got a whole bunch of that for her back then. And my grandma got a whole bunch of that.
To spirit, it's such a horrible comparison.
That wasn't a comparison. That wasn't a comparison. Don't lie. It wasn't a comparison. You're just citing that they did it. But choose them in the first place. Like this whole check bag, I'm sure that I'm comfort. You probably thinking, I'm going to be here for a long time, so let me just get here up front and figure out what the cost would be, rather than going with their business model. Like again, that was mentioned earlier, has been working for 30 years.
Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawk's. By my head I invoke I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain.
Megatron.
By my body I invoke thee. About
Welcome to the book club. Hello? So I'm going to read a book. Not many people these days take the time to do this. Most people are too busy talking. Nobody's actually learning. People claim they are learning, but I have yet to hear anyone learn anything. It's unbelievable. Nothing intelligent is being projected. It's all just stoic or Socratic method dialogue. And then they say, let's dialogue. And then they interrupt you immediately because it was a lie. They don't want a dialogue. They just... But anyways, I heard a lot of bullshit this morning on this app. a lot of bullshit, a lot of shit about white people being the worst people on the earth, and that black people had the natural God, the magic God, but it was the Muslims and the Christians that enslaved and raped and destroyed the African, and they have the world's real religion.
Wait, did you say Earth?
Earth.
Earth. Like Alf? Remember Alf? Or you mean Earth?
Like the truth. Like the truth at your birth and at your death. The truth is the truth of the earth from your birth until your death. And then you have to ask yourself, was Clubhouse worth it?
Oh, I have something to read to you, my friend.
Okay, then you will be modded 3 minutes to 10 minutes. That's the book club rule.
Okay, so this is the hypostases of archons. The book is called The Reality of the Rulers. It's an anonymous tractate presenting an esoteric interpretation of Genesis 1 to 6. Just partially in the form of a revelation discourse between an angel and a questioner. While the tractate illustrates a wide range of Hellenistic syncretism, whatever, the most eminent components are Jewish, although it presents a form of the hypostases of archons, shows clearly a Christian features, thus it can be considered Christian work. Its theological perspectives is a various. It is generally assumed that the hypostases of archons, like all the other non-Hammadi texts, is translated from Greek. The possibility of Coptic on the phrase "besides me" in Isaiah 46:9, and blind in this hypostasis, in this chapter, such as well as a description of animal-headed rulers, suggests that the performance may have been Egyptian. This document is tentatively dated in the 3rd century CE. It's obviously no later than the 4th century to which Nag-Hammadi collection is dated. But the well-developed Gnostic treatment of material in this document, as well as the Midrashic handling of spiritual material, argue against the early date. Furthermore, the philosophical orientation of, I'm assuming, chapter 96, 11 and 14 has identified as atypical of the 3rd century Neoplatonism. The questions of date and provenance complicated, and the possibility that the work as it stands is a result of Christian editors having combined the narrative sources, interpreting parts of Genesis with a revelation discourse concerning with the Syriotology and eschatology, teratology and eschatology, and placing them both with Christian. Hypostasis of the archons is certainly the work of a Gnostic teacher instructing an audience while using previous material. He writes, from a position of authority, even in angelic revelation, where the characters in the discourse is, obstinately speaking, however you say that. The audience is a Christian Gnostic community, aware of the material of both testaments and accepting the authority of Paul. They are familiar with Jewish literary traditions, including the Apocrypha, or elliptic texts. A tradition functioning from the apocalyptic, providing reassurance for the insecure community. It's operative here. The hypostasis of archons and thus an esoteric work written for the self-conscious community, which probably felt pressure from the Christian community that defined itself as orthodox and others as heretical. There are clearly some literary relationships between the hypostases of archons and on the origin of the world, which follows this tractate in code that can both aim to draw a common source later. The latter mentions the book or books of Noria, to which the Ephesians also refer to. Which Epiphanius also refers to. It suggested that the hypostasis of archons is to be identified with that source, but without compelling evidence. There are a brief introduction owning the great apostle Paul, the hypostasis of archons offer its methodological narratives. The main characters in the methodological drama which unfolds includes a blind ruler, Samuel, also called Daka, or Fool, and Yaldabaoth, who blasphemes against the divine, the spiritual woman who arouses Adam and outwits its rulers, the snake. An introduction and an instructor who counsels the men and women to eat the food forbidden by the rulers. Noria, the daughter of Eve, the virgin, pure in character and exalted in knowledge. Page 93 of the tractate will focus changes on somewhat the center stage now is the great angel of Athena, who reveals Nora, the original and destiny of the archonic powers. Epistases of Archon proclaims, as the title indicates, the reality of the Archon rulers. Far from being merely fictitious, imaginary powers and archons are all too real. These rulers indeed exist. This is a grim reality for the Christian Gnostics, who define their own spiritual nature in opposition to the ruling and enslaved authorities. Yet, as the document promises, the Christian Gnostics can have hope in their spiritually more glorious. In the end, the rulers will perish. Praise him.
Okay, that was like 3 to 10 minutes in the book club. Welcome to the book club, everybody. Invite your friends. This is not the Socratic dialogue. This is straight up information. This is gathering information, distributing information. This is called how you don't waste fucking time. This is called interesting. But the same conversation over and over and over again with the same people saying the same shit. What the fuck? The point is that? No fucking point. It's a waste of time. So that means people are doing this all the time. They're wasting all their time. But anyways, I'm going to read from a book that I hope you will read from a book. We read from 3 to 10 minutes in the book club. We don't talk about the books we read. We just read the books. That's the secret of my magic book club is we don't waste any time. We just distribute information. You pick it up and you run with it. That's it. That's it. That's the whole show. That's the whole game. No more wasted time. No more opinions. And that's it. I'm going to read a book now. Here we go. This is Ayn Rand, page number 22. The process of concept formation does not consist merely of grasping a few simple abstractions, such as chair, table, hot, cold, and of learning to speak. It consists of a method of using one's consciousness, best designated by the term conceptualizing. It is not a passive state of registering random impressions. Oh, Megatron, the reason why I bought this book is because remember that day with Simon where like we're gonna
Yeah. I have some books in PDF. I haven't begun to read them yet though, because I got stuck having to do other stuff like buying my wife a car. Do you know what that's like?
I know what it's like to buy pretty girls nice stuff.
What it's like.
You know what's
buy a car that.
You know what's funny about this Ayn Rand is Simon is right, it's very good, but Simon does a horrible job explaining it. That's the funny part. Simon doesn't actually explain it barely at all. But when you read Ayn Rand, you're like, holy shit, this is pretty smart. Like this is very advanced thinking. Okay, continuing on, page 22. It is not a passive state of registering random impressions. It is an actively sustained process of identifying one's impressions in conceptual terms, of integrating every event and every observation into a conceptual context, of grasping relationships, differences, similarities in one's perceptual material and abstracting them into new concepts, of drawing inferences, of making deductions, of reaching conclusions, of asking new questions, and the faculty that directs this process, the faculty that works by means of concepts, is reason. The process is thinking. Reason is the faculty that identifies and integrates the material provided by man's senses. It is a faculty that man has to exercise by choice. Thinking is not an automatic function. In any hour and issue of his life, man is free to think or to evade that effort. Thinking requires a state of full focused awareness. The act of focusing one's consciousness is volitional. Man can focus his mind to a full, active, purposefully directed awareness of reality, or he can unfocus it and let himself drift in a semi-conscious daze, merely reacting to any chance stimulus of the immediate moment. At the mercy of his undirected sensory perceptual mechanism of any random associated connections it might happen to make. When man unfocuses his mind, he may be said to be conscious in a subhuman sense of the word, since he experiences sensations and perceptions. But in the sense of the word applicable to man, in the sense of a consciousness which is aware of reality and able to deal with it, a consciousness able to direct the actions and provide for the survival of a human being, an unfocused mind is not conscious. Psychologically, the choice to think or not is the choice to focus or not. Existentially, the choice to focus or not is the choice to be conscious or not. Metaphysically, the choice to be conscious or not is the choice of life or death. Consciousness, for those living organisms which possess it, is the basic means of survival. For man, the basic means of survival is reason. Man cannot survive as animals do by the guidance of mere percepts. A sensation of hunger will tell him that he needs food, if he has learned to identify it as hunger, but it will not tell him how to obtain his food. and it would not tell him what food is good for him or poisonous. He cannot provide for his simplest physical needs without a process of thought. No percepts and no instincts will tell him how to light a fire, how to weave cloth, how to forge tools, how to make a wheel, how to make an airplane, how to perform an appendectomy, how to produce an electric light bulb, or an electric tube, or a cyclotron, or a box of matches. Yet his life depends on such knowledge, and only a volitional act of his conscience. A process of thought is not automatic or instinctive, nor infallible. Man has to initiate it, to sustain it, and to bear responsibility for its results. He has to discover how to tell what is true or false and how to correct his own errors. He has to discover how to validate his concepts, his conclusions, his knowledge. He has to discover the rules of thought, the laws of logic, to direct his thinking. Nature gives him no automatic guarantee of the efficacy of his mental effort. Nothing is given to man on earth except a potential and the material on which to actualize it. The potential is a superlative machine, his consciousness. But it is a machine without a spark plug, a machine of which his own will has to be the spark plug, the self-starter and the driver. He has to discover how to use it, and he has to keep it in constant action. The material is the whole of the universe, with no limit set to the knowledge he can acquire and to the enjoyment of life he can achieve. But everything he needs or desires has to be learned, discovered, and produced by him, by his own choice, by his own effort, by his own mind. A being who does not know automatically what is true or false cannot know automatically what is right or wrong, what is good for him or evil. Okay, that's 2 pages of Ayn Rand.
What a rant. What a rant. I've been looking on a lot of poetry books.
Mm-hmm.
Some old ones. And then I got into this song yesterday. And it's because I saw TikTok. I'll show you the TikTok now. It was this black guy who was singing Tool. and he does it acoustically, and I never heard a song like this ever in my entire life. And I'm gonna share the fucking TikTok with you because it was very important. I saw him doing this, and it's such a song that you would never see. What's up, sister? It's a song that you would never see a black man with an acoustic guitar singing. So that in and of itself was like, shit, what song is he singing? And then when he sang it, he did it so good that it inspired me to learn the song yesterday, which I was singing it.
Do you want to pin it or put it in the chat?
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm going to put it in right now. And it's like a fucking, at first it looks like a goofy video. Like, I didn't want to ruin, like, the picture I had in my head about who this guy was. So I started scrolling, and there were, like, moments where I was like, oh, this guy's really goofy. I was like, so I don't want to ruin the video by looking at all his other goofy shit. So I just kind of kept it,
You know what happens is when you find if you create a successful video on YouTube, what the creator does is they just recreate that successful video over and over and over again. There's these 2 guys on YouTube that sing this one stupid song. It's like, I need a new heart and my heart is broken, now I got you. And then they feature like a girl or some entertainer who sings the song. They do the audio enhancement, but they got like 25 million subscribers, and they're probably making a few million a year singing the same stupid song over and over again.
I'm not that lucky.
A few million. If you do 500 million impressions on YouTube and you're a paid creator, that's $2.5 million in revenue. And every month YouTube pays out $1 billion to its creators. Meanwhile, Clubhouse gives you the option to get some gold coins that you can't even cash out. It's so stupid. This app is so stupid. It's such a waste of time. But not in the book club, because we're using our brain here to improve our brain.
Yeah, no, the book club is superior. Yeah, superior.
Carmen, welcome to the book club. We are reading books to each other here. Do you have a book you'd like to read, Carmen? Excellent. We also have Fatima here. Ben.
So he does this so fucking good. And I'm not even gonna ruin it for you. Okay, Carmen? I'm not gonna ruin anything for you.
Look at Megatron's PTR. He's got the Sephiroth, or the Tree of Life, overlaid on Mother Mary.
Yeah. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, let's check out this TikTok.
Anyone that's watching it, sweetheart, I gotta stop watching the video before I post it. He does such a good job. There's a shadow just behind me. Starting at its MIT. Maybe every bottle's the time. Something on the passenger. Nothing like you. Something on the passenger.
Yeah, that guy's getting laid with that song. Make your day. Okay, we're continuing on in the book club. That was our brief music segue to another book. We are here to improve or read a book for 3 to 10 minutes. Now's your chance. 30 seconds going once. 30 seconds going twice. 33 seconds going 3 times. No? Okay, Megatron, it's your turn in the queue to read a book. Do you have a book, Megatron?
I want to read to you the lyrics to the song. And I'm going to read them as like a poem. And I'm not going to read them as an actual song. Okay? Let's see, we go. Okay, this is Stains doing the acoustic version of Kitover. The song originally by okay. This is Every Shadow's Just Behind Me. Okay, hold on a second. Let me lower this up. Listen to this stuff. It's very good words. This is Every Shadow Just Behind Me. Every step I take, making every promise happen, to everything happy, waiting like a starting button.